All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We've got a massive problem on our hands. The very architecture of the internet is fundamentally failing us. You see, for decades, the systems that rank content, establish reputation, and decide what goes viral were built on one massive assumption. And that assumption? That the person on the other side of the screen is a living, breathing human being. Search engines were built for human searching. Comment sections were built for human debate. But what happens to our digital world when that foundational assumption literally just falls apart? Well, welcome to 2025, where that assumption is officially dead. A staggering 53% of all global web traffic is now generated by machines. Not humans, machines. According to the Thales Imperva Bad Bot Report, which has tracked this metric for years, we've just witnessed the sharpest single-year acceleration in its history. We're talking about AI-enabled bot attacks surging by 12.5 times year over year. Think about that for a second. We have officially crossed the threshold where human activity is the minority online. To put that insane scale into perspective, 1.1 billion. That is the staggering number of fake accounts Meta had to scrub in just the final quarter of 2025 alone. 1.1 billion. And get this, that's up from 692 million just the quarter before. Now, these weren't just idle accounts sitting around in a database somewhere. These bots existed, they posted, and they circulated content before finally getting caught. The sheer volume they were moving gives us a terrifying hint at the volume that actually slipped through the cracks. Section 1. Manufacturing fake consensus. Let's look at how this synthetic traffic is actively programming the mind. Now, we need to get one thing straight. These are not just your everyday, harmless spam bots. We're talking about professionally resourced operations designed to actively shape reality. Those faceless accounts you scroll past with stock photos and weirdly consistent posting schedules, they aren't edge cases anymore. Now, if we look at the data totally neutrally, manufacturing public belief is a very old game. Intelligence agencies have played it historically for decades. Institutions have always understood that controlling what populations watch shapes what they believe. The FBI has literally had an entertainment liaison since the 1930s, and the CIA set up a formal one in 1996 to shape how intelligence is depicted in movies, even reviewing scripts for Hollywood blockbusters. But today, democratized server farms allow bot networks to do the exact same thing, just incredibly cheaply. We've seen documented operations like Doppelganger, spoofing the domains of trusted outlets like the Washington Post, or Spamiflage, which maintains a coordinated presence across more than 50 platforms. Then there's the Russian Internet Research Agency, operating with hundreds of staff and a multi-million-dollar budget. The power to manufacture a grassroots opinion doesn't require a covert government budget anymore. You just need a server farm. And the ultimate goal behind all these operations boils down to exactly this: programming the human mind by making fake consensus look organic. They are flooding authentic voices with synthetic volume. And the saddest part? Research from the National Institutes of Health confirms that it works. People validate bot-generated content at the exact same rate as content from real humans. We integrate it right into our own beliefs without ever realizing where it actually came from. So where is this trajectory taking us? Well, Europol has a pretty chilling projection. By 2026, up to 90% of all online content could be synthetically generated. 90%. This effectively breaks the very algorithms our internet relies on. These systems are now pumping out outputs calibrated for a human world that, frankly, no longer exists. And it's causing real people to second-guess their own intuition and just shut down. Section 2. The flawed identity solution. Let's talk about the dangers of hardware verification. The tech industry is obviously scrambling to fix this crisis, but honestly, their cure might actually be worse than the disease. Right now, the dominant response treats this as an identity problem. The whole idea is to prove who you are once, usually by coughing up government IDs or submitting to biometric scans. And then you carry that proof around the internet, but let's look at the recent Discord and persona trail escalation to see exactly why this fails so hard. What started as a simple 30-second age check on Discord structurally opened the door for massive unconsented background surveillance. Behind the scenes, this system could run 269 distinct background checks, scan 14 different categories of adverse media, and, here's the kicker, retain facial biometrics and device fingerprints for up to 3 years. Now, Discord did end the partnership after researchers exposed it, but the data that was already collected is still out there. It just proves that you are handing over the most sensitive information you possess to third parties under policies you never even negotiated. And when platforms outsource this stuff to third-party identity providers, breaches aren't just bad, they are catastrophic. Take the 2019 Biostar 2 breach, for example. That exposed 28 million biometric templates in plain text. We're talking fingerprints and facial recognition data of police and bank personnel just completely exposed. Because here's the thing, unlike a password, which you can reset in 10 seconds, you can never change your fingerprint. You can't change your face. A stolen biometric template creates an indefinite vulnerability. And that is exactly why the EU's GDPR classifies this as special category data. Even massive infrastructure projects like World, which physically scan the irises of 18 million people across 16 countries to prove their humanness, are ultimately answering the completely wrong question for the internet's survival. Yes, it's a serious piece of infrastructure, no doubt, but a credential issued at a physical scanning location back in 2024 tells you absolutely nothing about what or who is operating that account in 2026. Section 3, Identity versus Proof of Life. A massive, absolutely necessary paradigm shift. We really need to fundamentally contrast the old, flawed model of identity with the necessary evolution to what we call presence. Because the question the internet actually needs answered right now is not one of identity. An identity credential only tells you that someone passed a background check or an iris scan at some random point in the past. It is just a historical record. It says absolutely zero about whether a human or an automated bot is operating that account today, right now. Presence, on the other hand, is the ongoing daily fact of a living human being actively showing up. Furthermore, while identity verification demands that you surrender physical traits and permanent biometric extraction to a centralized server, sometimes even making you walk into a physical store to do it, presence can be proven locally, right there, on your own device. Nothing biometric ever has to leave your phone or your computer. And the absolute most crucial takeaway here is the total elimination of risk. Think about it. Confirming that a living human is present does not require a third-party institution hoarding your data. It doesn't require cross-referencing your social security number, and it certainly doesn't require retaining your facial geometry for 3 whole years. Presence operates on zero data retention. Section 4, the Aepoch protocol. And by the way, that is pronounced Aepoch. Let's look at the base presence layer. Fortunately, there's a new protocol actively building this exact presence infrastructure. The Aepoch protocol introduces a revolutionary concept called proof of life, and it basically gives the internet a way to verify real people without any institutional coercion. It's a mechanism that runs entirely on your device. It presents a unique, unscriptable daily interaction to confirm that a living human is present. It does exactly what the task requires and nothing more, without retaining any biometric data or personally identifiable information whatsoever. A real game changer. Let's walk through how frictionless this really is. Step 1, you complete a unique, unrecordable daily interaction on your device. It takes literally seconds, and because it presents a different interaction every single session, it cannot be pre-recorded or scripted by a bot. Step 2, that confirmation is recorded on the protocol. This ensures your data stays yours, with absolutely zero biometrics extracted. And step 3, completing this daily check activates an economic reward for the human user. You are literally designed to be economically rewarded, consistently, just for showing up as a real person. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought about what kind of online future we're willing to accept. Because at the end of the day, our online environment reflects what we allow into it. So do we want to build an internet that demands our permanent biometric data, surrendering it to third parties who collect way more than they need and hold on to it far longer than they should? Or do we want an internet that simply asks if we are present today? Confirming that a living human being is on the other side of the screen does not require giving up data that you can never take back. The choice of how we prove our humanity moving forward, well, that is entirely up to us.